Now we're going to be installing the upper and lower portions of the full back. Remember guys, these pieces are not sold separately. If you want to order them separately, they come with the side skins for this phone. So we're going to be installing the top section first. And you can see that we're going to be aiming for the little clip for where the battery compartment removes. Alright, the border from the skin to the phone, that nice black border looks fairly even. So we're going to let it overhang for right now, and then we're going to do the same thing with the bottom section. We're going to make sure it has a nice even black border in between the skin. And we're going to make sure that the area around the power plug adapter is nice and even as well, because that's going to be folding over just a slight bit, and we got to make sure that that compartment is even. Now you want to lightly press down on the tip of those wings that are a little raised, just to start to give it the curvature that it's going to be developing in a minute. Now in order to get that curvedness for the skin to contour around the curved edges of the phone, you want to grab your hair dryer and you want to heat the raised areas at this point. We're going to start with the left corner. And we're going to start pressing it down in stages. We're going to heat and press a little bit and then repeat, just so that we don't put too much pressure all at one time and may crease the skin. As you guys can see clearly, as you heat it a little bit, those little raised areas that are almost like rubberized feet for the upper section of and lower section of the phone, they protrude right out from underneath the skin. So now at the bottom, we're going to heat that area as well. And like I said, you just have to heat it in steps. Heat, press, and then heat and press again. And the skin had developed the same contours as the upper section. So now we have the full back installed. And just to notice, as you can see here, the squared off sides are going to be the cutoff for the upper and lowers, just to give yourself a little marker. So next we're going to start with the sides. The first one we're going to be installing is going to be on the right side while the back of the phone is facing you. To start, you want to install the area where majority of the cutouts are, and line that flat line up to the upper and lower that we had just installed. Now you just want to place a small area of the left of the side wrap down first. And you just want to make sure that it touches both upper and lower without any type of gap. And then you want to flap it over around the button areas on the flat side. Now once you have it only stuck and pressed down slightly to the side, you want to heat it and then firmly press around that side wrap. And there you go, guys. We're turning our camo / black active into a nice subtle Battleship gray. Next is going to be the opposing side. Now this is the same steps as we did for the opposite side. All you have to do is line it up at the top where the closer to the cutout, and then line it up at the bottom. Make sure that the two ends touch to the previously installed skin. If they don't exactly match up, you may lift it and give it a slight tug. You don't want to stretch it too much because then you may overstretch it. Once you have that thin portion of the side installed, you may bend it over around the button. Now that you've done that, you want to heat it until you start to see the material get soft, and then press it down so it actually matches up with the contour of the side. Make sure again that it's nice and firm as you press onto the skin, just so we make sure that there's no air bubbles or any imperfections from the heating process. Next is going to be the upper portion of the sides, where your audio jack and microphones are. That's where you're going to be positioning and pivoting from for this piece. Once you align those, you'll see that the two sides are overextended, like wings. Now before you do anything with that, make sure that the main section of the side wrap is pressed down, and then as you make your way around the curved area of the side, there is a dip, so you may want to sort of manually place around that curve. As you can see, I went over to the right a little bit, but that's no problem. We can minorly adjust that without removing it. Now for the section that doesn't make a connection, you can slightly put some pressure and stretch it. Now the one that has a hairline overlapping, you can heat that area and it will contract to make a connection. Now around the curved areas, you want to heat that as well, just so that it does contour perfectly and you can see whatever type of pattern you can say that will protrude through the skin. Like I said, those rubber feet do on the upper and lower portions of the full back. Alright guys, this final piece of the side is in two sections. 3 if you include the cover for the power port. So our first section is going to be the one with the mic hole. And then we're going to center it around the mic hole to give us a general idea where to place. Once you have it centered, you want to just lightly press it around the side to start to give it its curved shape, because these sections are lightly curved. If you guys look very closely, I could have went a little higher with the side to center it around the mic hole, but you wanted to make a slight connection with the lower piece, so that means I could have went a little higher while installing that piece. And then, in fact, the mic hole would have been centered. And as you saw, there was a slight crack that made a connection to the other piece of the side. And just to make that connection, just lift it up and give it a slight tug or pressure. And now that we have it installed and aligned, just heat it up so it will contour and stick better to your phone. Now you want to may add some extra pressure around that sharper angle. Now that's only so that dirt may not build up, because it will be considered an air pocket. Now for the solid piece, you want to try to align that to the lower, just so that makes a connection, and it'll keep the side wrap straight for wrapping it around the side. As you can see, that one makes a little bit better of a connection to the full chunkier side. But there was still a little bit larger than liked crack. So we just stretch it out, and now that we have it aligned, we're going to heat it down. Now once that we have everything installed, like in all of my videos, I always tell you guys to heat the entire skin down. Now this will make the adhesive activate, and it'll allow it to stick a little bit better around some of these more curved or crazier angled pieces of this phone. Now if you like how the sides look, you can keep them like that, but if you like it more detailed, which I know some of you do, you can go from that curved side to the more detailed looking side, just by adding a little bit of extra heat after you have everything installed and lined up. With the use of the heat and just the tip of your fingernail, you're able to get that crease and make it really stand out behind your skin. As you can see here, it just had a drastic change in a matter of seconds.
This is optional.
Alright, the install is now completed, but we do give you an optional power port cover. It's a little rectangle that goes inside the dipped area of the cover for your charger.
That looks pretty cool.
As you see, it goes on very easy with a piece of Scotch tape.
Okay.
And there you go, guys. We just changed our camo colored S5 Active to a nicer, subtler Battleship gray. Alright guys, we're not just done with this phone yet. We're going to change the mid-back section of this phone for right now, and change the home buttons as well. We're just going to give you a couple of ideas what else type of funny and nifty color schemes that you can come up with. Now I know some of you like the Battleship gray, so we're going to take it to an extreme by installing the yellow as the mid-back. Now you can see that I'm pressing all the air bubbles out, and how different the phone in a whole already looks with just a minor piece of yellow. So now, to install the home buttons, we're going to remove the priorly installed Battleship gray ones, and show you how the phone really looks with a little bit of trim for the yellow. Like I said before, you can install these home buttons as a whole, but if you're unsure of yourself about having a steady hand, you can install them individually. Okay, I have the other two installed, and now I am just placing the final middle one. As I did with the gray ones, I did them all at once and had a hard time with one at the end. And this one I've done individually, and they come out just as even. But you see how original you can turn any standard colored phone into any type of color choice of your choosing. All sections can come in a wide variety of colors, so there's thousands of different combinations you can come up with. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed my choice of color for today. Thanks for watching, and until next time.